So we had not had any rapport before that, like any really deep rapport. So the Zoom class was the first, the Zoom meeting was the first time her and I really, kind of was figuring each other out. And we found out immediately that, we worked really well together. So we just went ahead and wrote this film together, and the rest is history.
Wow, no, that's incredible. And I definitely like see the comedy side as well in the film, especially like with Tiffany's best friend. Before kind of like again diving in more into the film, I wanted to ask you guys, what's your all-time favorite Black Christmas film?
Like this Christmas as a Christmas movie. I like that one.
Yes, I like this Christmas too. I don't know if it's my favorite Christmas film, but it's such a good film. I just watched it. I think that's why it popped in my head. If I have to think of a favorite Black film, I would have to say maybe it's Love and Basketball as a romance film. That's one of the movies I can watch over and over again, and it always tugs at my heart. I think that would be my favorite.
Because sometimes it's hard for me to think of my favorite ones. Something New with Sanaa Lathan. I don't know if you heard that one. Something New.
Yeah, I feel like those are both two good choices to be honest. Your all-time like Christmas film that you have to watch.
My favorite Christmas movie is something that I have to watch. I mean, it stays on my TV. Even if I'm not in the room watching it, I just like it in the background. It's A Christmas Story that comes on every year. I double dare you, I triple dog dare you. Like that's my favorite all-time movie.
How did you develop the characters Tiffany and Teddy and craft their love story and chemistry?
I could say that when we first when we first developed Tiffany, well, she was kind of based on my experiences and stuff. So I kind of wanted her to be kind of awkward black girlish. She's talented, but she's unsure of herself. So wanted to develop a character that the audience is rooting for, to that they can relate to because she has quirks, she has different and we developed these characters a lot. In one version of the film, she had a certain snack that she liked to eat. So I wanted to create like little quirks about the character that the audience would relate to and would make them memorable. What about you, Lynette?
These characters evolved over time, right? As she said, when it started out, Teddy's name wasn't even Teddy, it was Quincy. Talk about like little versions, different versions of the movie. Tiffany wasn't a full figured female. Like she said, she was just this awkward female who had a lottery fetish. In the first version of the movie, she loved lottery tickets because that's something she shared with her mother. That got scrapped, of course. And then we decided to make her this plus size, this beautiful full figured woman, so that, and not that she had any problems with herself. That wasn't her problem. Her problem was she was not succeeding. She wasn't able to do what she promised her mother she would do, and that's keeping the shop afloat. So that was her flaw, her biggest flaw. Teddy, like we said, was Quincy. He wasn't even a dual protagonist at the time. He did not have this storyline that he had. He was not, he just came in and was the pop star that actually saved her in a sense and she fell in love with. So that was originally just his goal, was to just become, she became the stylist for him. But then as time went on, we were having issues with the story and the characters. Because we've been writing this since 2020, right? By 2022, end of 2022, right, Julene, I believe it was. Yes, the end of 2022, we were asked about this project. Is it ready to go? Because they were looking for a project to shoot that winter. We thought, yes, we're ready because we have been working on it for 2 years. We sent the project over. It was reviewed by multiple people and it was trashed. I don't know if that's the best word but to use, but it came back with so many issues. And the biggest issues was the characters. They didn't really like the characters. So Kristen Iris Johnson, who worked for MegaMind, was the VP over development. She got on a call with Julene and I and said, hey, we need to do something different. I need you to go back and rework these characters. I need you to develop these characters, make new arcs for them. Like, we really need to figure out what's wrong with the characters. And Julene and I sat down and wrote like 18 pages of character development just about these characters. And it changed the characters. Like, Teddy became a dual protagonist. Teddy became this person who was really looking for love, but had gotten his heart broken. I think people may look at this film and say, oh, he's a playboy. And he wasn't. Everybody's thinking he's a playboy. He was not by nature a playboy. He wanted what his parents had, and that was a love that withstood the test of time. But Nicole broke his heart. She left him on bended knee in Mexico. That was the cause of him becoming this playboy. So we just started really going deep into these characters. Like, Julian, let's talk about, even if you're okay with that, like some of the things that changed with the characters. Like, I don't know if you want to jump in. I have one that comes to mind, but I wanted you to be able to jump in on this.
I think as we did our character arcs, which for any writers out there, this is really a great idea to create well-developed and 3D characters so that the characters aren't flat on the screen, so the characters are relatable. Our character arcs went way back to their childhood and their motives and what happened to them as a child that made them like this today. How did they grow up? Things like that. And so for Tiffany, I think one of the things that changed was, I'm trying to think. Oh, in one version of the script, she had an ex-boyfriend. Maybe in this version there was an ex-boyfriend, but it wasn't stated. But in the other version of the script, there was an ex-boyfriend that dumped her, and then the antagonist Nicole later on in the movie stole the ex-boyfriend from her. So she was going through like double heartbreak. So that's one of the changes I can think about Tiffany. What was the one you were thinking? Was it Raya's daughter? Is that the one you're thinking or no?
It was definitely that, and also that she did mention in the movie that she had a bad breakup. We just didn't go deep
Okay.
into it. But
Yeah.
as Julian was saying, the earlier versions, Nicole was her nemesis. Nicole was, even though she still was, but Nicole was also a stylist.
Oh yeah.
So they were battling to be the best stylist, and that was Nicole's first arc. And Rhea had not only a husband that she forgets about, but she also had a daughter named Brandy that was in our earlier versions. And Brandy's school was what saved the shop, because they actually commissioned the boutique to make clothes, uniforms for the school. So that was the earlier versions of the film, and then we ended up with this, which we at the end, me and Julene were like, "Whoa!" Like, it was so much better, right? Once we got to this point, and we made Teddy a dual protagonist, and we were able to follow his journey also, and the whole thing with Sarah and making Rhea still married but not having this daughter that she had to deal with. Not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying that just not giving her that storyline that we had to now build upon. So that was really how the characters started to come to life. And like Julene said, character development is everything. I think sometimes we kind of bypass that. I think we kind of did that in this story at first. We wrote, we thought we knew what these characters wanted and the wants, their desires. We thought we knew everything about them. But as Julene said, sitting down and writing these backstories, like Nicole came from an impoverished background. That's why she was so motivated to have someone that can take care of her. She came from a background where she didn't have anything, and she found later on that her looks can get her things. So she used her looks as a tool to get men. And Teddy, she did like love Teddy at one point, but his career wasn't moving fast enough for her. he wasn't able to give her the lifestyle that she wanted. So that's why she left him for someone else who can give her that. And then when that didn't work out, she came back to him now because look at him now. He's successful. So now he has what I want. Let me go back there. But she's motivated by that because because of the background. She didn't want to ever have to go back to not having.
And the bad guy in the movie, you kind of still feel sorry for her. You kind of feel sorry at one point. She was like, "Teddy, don't you love me?" And the Sincerely who played Nicole was very convincing, and it's like I almost feel bad for her at that point. Like, yeah, I understand what's like when the man that you really like goes for someone else. Characters are so we thought about so many things about the characters that they're both protagonists. Even the bad guy is kind of you feel bad for them. You have feelings for them. Teddy was kind of he did Tiffany wrong. He kind of played her, but then you still feel for him. You still are like, oh, I still want them to have their love story at the end. So I think developing the characters and that you see their flaws and their good traits, and throughout the story they change. Teddy became more he became less superficial. He became more open to having a relationship, not just based on the physical, not just based on pleasure, but also just having fun with someone, knowing them on a deeper sense. And so that's what we tried to do throughout the story.
So I want to jump in here real quick, just let's bring up because we didn't bring up the Sarah character who was really, pivotal in his life. You know what I mean? As far as being his momager and finding out that although she thought she was doing it for him, she was also doing it for herself. Like the thing pushing him into these schemes and everything, you know, to keep her job. And she thought she was doing what was best for him. But when she saw his heart, when he really was falling in love and she thought it looked good on him, but the bottom line was more important. And Cheryl, who played Sarah, oh my goodness, she played, I mean, everyone did an amazing job. I just loved her dynamics, as Sarah and how her and Mario worked well together. I thought the chemistry of the characters, the chemistry of the talent was so on point. I really felt like, and I don't know, I could be biased, but I really felt like they brought it in a sense where you thought that they were together all the time. You thought that these people, this was like their everyday lives.
It's nice to kind of know the different stages and the different versions of this film and like what the I guess the final version and the background story. And how important was it for you to showcase a plus size black woman as the lead in a romantic comedy, especially like in a holiday film? Because even though that representation is getting better, like usually plus size women are seen as like the best friend or the funny best friend, but not necessarily the main character. So how important was it for you guys to showcase that?
I would say for me it was important to showcase that. As I mentioned, like the first script we wrote, she wasn't plus size. However, later on we decided to make her plus size. And I think one of the reasons why is to show that representation, to show something different. Because there are not many movies where the person is shown with like a full love story with a love interest and they're the main character. And that's one thing I've heard actresses say. One actress, she made a Instagram reel about the plus size girl always being always playing the background, doing doing things, or the funny friends, but they never have a love story that's not based on trauma or not based on them not being undesirable, um not based on them just being a loved person in of themselves, not having to change themselves, not having to fit standards, not having to have a makeover and stuff like that. So like I feel like we do need more films like that. I was looking at some of the reviews of our movie, and some people said, "Oh, I love that they have a plus size girl," and there are some funny TikTok videos of people screaming like, "Oh my gosh, it's kissing Mario!" So there were a lot of like happy people, but then I did see a few people like, I wish the plus size girl, didn't have to be, undesirable at first and stuff like that. So I feel like maybe we still have ways to go and presenting plus size women in a way full-figured women in a way that's they can just be fully themselves without having to think about having that to be part of the plot, you know what I mean? Of them just showing up as themselves and that not even being part of the plot. But even in the movie, I don't think we even mentioned that at all. I think it was more so that she was plain. Teddy said that she was plain. He has a reputation to uphold, and she doesn't look like his past. You know, her style wasn't on point. So I don't think we even mentioned that. So, but still, I think the representation is important to have.
Good. And I'm glad you said that because, and I think I saw a post like that I actually responded to. You know what I mean? And it was like she's not, it's not about her size. It was never about her size. It was never about her size for her. Raven Goodwin was very adamant about making sure that the representation of Tiffany, was not that she felt low though or anything about, felt bad about who she was. It was always about the fact that and she said it in the beginning, I don't have time to dress up. I'm trying to save my shop. That was the issue. It wasn't that she couldn't get fly. You know what I mean? It couldn't, she decided for herself, I am okay with being this. You know, Teddy was used to women who were like Nicole, just always glammed up, beat to the beats, beat to the gods, dressing up all the time. That was what he preferred. It wasn't that he preferred a slimmer woman or or a light skinned woman. It had nothing to do with that. And I think people automatically go to, oh, it's because she's full figure. No, that was never said, ever. And Julene and I, when we were writing it, we wanted to make sure that we represented the character well. And then we never went to a place where she felt bad about who she was. You know what I mean? She loved herself. She just didn't love the predicament she was in. So I think if people look at it through that, I think people automatically, when they see a full size woman, they automatically go to, oh, he doesn't want her because she's full size. That's people. That's how people's perceptions, but that's not the movie. So I'm glad that we're getting an opportunity to even talk about that. And even with us saying this, Julene, people are still going to think what they want to think, right? So it's fine. But we know what we were writing about when we wrote this. I feel like representation is everything. Diversity is everything. As a casting director, I am constantly fighting for different, representation, constantly getting, character bios where, oh, she's light skin and slim and this, and it's always like that as far as the leads. And then you get the best friend. Oh, she could be full figure, or she could be a chocolate girl. You know what I mean? And I am all about us having diversity and us writing characters that actually don't have an actual description. You know what I mean? It's just this character has to do this, has to be this. Forget the physical description of them. Just what the inside, the characteristics of them. And if you can play that, I don't care if you brown, black, yellow, green, you know what I mean? You get the part. And I just hope that one day we can get to a place where it can be non-descriptive and we can just go on the characteristics of the character and let the best man or woman win the role.
Yeah, I completely agree and stuff. I just felt like yeah, the representation was great, and it was great to also see that she's a businesswoman. She is independent and everything. She has her best friend and stuff, and she just also happens to fall in love as well in the process. So it was like a win-win situation for her. The next question is, what was it like collaborating as co-writers for this film? Do you have like a favorite scene or character that you love to write about? And yeah, how was it seeing that come to life?
It was also my first time collaborating and writing like a script. Um, I loved our dynamic. I mean, in the beginning, I feel like Lynette brought a lot out of me because in the beginning, I was just a shy person in class, shy during our writing sessions. It was hard for me to get my ideas out because I guess I was having some maybe a little imposter syndrome on whether or not my ideas were great or not. But Lynette brought brought me out of my shell and brought the creativity out of me. And so by the midpoint of us writing together, we were just throwing out ideas and laughing together and creating like funny scenes. There are a lot of scenes that didn't even make it to the movie, but it was so fun to create them. Like there's one scene when she was talking to Siri on her phone, and Siri was talking Jamaican and talking back to her about about Teddy and stuff like that. It was kind of funny. There was there are a lot of deleted scenes. There's a deleted scene when Tiffany was talking to herself in the mirror, and her reflection was telling her, "Go, you better go get your man," and stuff like that. I just love a lot of my favorite scenes writing were some of the ones that are deleted scenes. I think I loved writing the scene with the photographer Peter, and his antics and stuff like that. It was really fun coming up with, what he was gonna have her do, and I feel like that scene brought a lot to the movie, brought a lot of, like, something that you don't always see in a Christmas movie. It brought, like, some diversity, it brought some quirky humor and stuff, so I really enjoyed working on that with Lynette.
But I think my favorite, there was so many favorites. And as Julene said, she was in the beginning very quiet. Like I would say, "What do you think of this? What do you think?" She's like, "Okay." It was always like that. And I was like, "Girl, like I need you to speak up. Like we got to get in." And then she would start to open up and everything. I think because she felt I was coming in on the comedic side, you know what I mean? That she didn't anything she wrote wasn't funny. And I, there were times where she would come up with things and I would zhuzh it up and everything, but she definitely came up with the Rosa Parks, the joke when she says about Rosa Parks didn't wear those, didn't run, so you can wear those shoes. And then you came up with the Santa never gets his cookies. So with Peter, so she was writing some comedy in it, and I think she just had to get comfortable with it, and she did. It was a great experience. A lot of work. It was a lot of late nights. It was a lot of like we were tired, but we were developing something that we believed in, and we love. If you love writing, if you love what you do, then it never becomes a chore. It never becomes feels like work. It just felt like something that we were doing and very passionate about. And to answer your other question, my favorite one of my favorite scenes, I have so many, is the scene when they first come to his house. When we wrote that, and to see it play out when Pretty Vee is walking up in that outfit, and just to see, and it's funny because I went back to read the script as I was watching the movie because it's so long ago. I wanted to see like what was exactly how we wrote it, what was changed and everything. And they like really stayed like I would say 95% of the movie was what we wrote. The director, he definitely wanted to keep our script intact, and he did. So we're so appreciative of that. But that scene, to see how it was elevated when she was supposed to slide off the couch. When she rolled off the couch, oh my goodness, I almost died because I was like, that was hilarious. So it was just being, and then the piano. We didn't have a piano in our script because we didn't know there was going to be a piano there. So to see her go and say, "This is where he plays music," and she plays the piano and stuff, like it was so funny. But then that scene, Julene, when she gets on the couch and says, "This is where he makes love on the couch," Julene didn't want to write that at first. Remember? She was like, "Oh, I don't know who we show like that." And I was like, "It's gonna be fine," because I'm always gonna push the envelope, right? And I was like, "It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine." And it came out really well, and it still was tasteful, and it was funny as heck, But Julene at first didn't want to. There was some stuff that didn't make it to the script because Julene fought me on it because I was like pushing, but that made it, and see, it ended up coming out great. But that's like one of my favorite scenes.
Speaking of like time on set, what was your like memorable moment filming with the cast, in particular, like being able to work with Raven Goodwin and Mario, like to be on this film? Like, how was it interacting with them and the rest of the cast members?
I really enjoyed being on set. I was gonna say, was that my first big Hollywood set? No, I've been on some other Hollywood set, but this was the first time I actually spent like the whole 3 weeks on set. I've never like spent like the whole time on a set because I'm an actress as well, so I usually just go for a few days where I'm acting, stuff like that. So I spent the whole 3 weeks on set, and it was like so awesome. Not just the cast, but like the crew. It's like everyone became family. Everyone, there was no like haughty airs. I don't know. Sometimes you're on set with celebrities, and they're like, "Ah, go fetch me my," There was honor. There was, everyone honored each other, but there was like no one like, acting any which way. We became like family. It's like the stars, they just meshed with everyone, and we all laughed and talked together. By the end of the filming, we had our rap party, and they came and they danced and stuff, and everyone it was just so fun. Like, especially Pretty Vee. Pretty Vee is just like, energetic and stuff. So she just brought a lot of joy to set, a lot of behind the scenes, doing a whole bunch of behind the scenes skits and stuff. So it was a great experience for me. I really enjoyed how great everyone was, how the crew and the cast, everyone, it became like the synergy was amazing. I just never been on a set where it's like family.
Well, that's definitely a mega mindset. That whole family aspect of it and stuff. I've been on a lot of their sets as a production coordinator. To be able to be on this set and to see our words, the words that we wrote, all this hard work, coming together. Shout out to our mentor and boss, Tressa Azarel Smallwood and Don Lee, for allowing us to be able to make this movie. And it was like she said, it was great. Like, you just never know what you're going to get. Me being a casting director, I meet a lot of the cast, so you just never know like the different synergies and things like that. I gotta say, our cast was just A1. They like she said, everything was like a family. Like, everybody was so cool, fun. It was a really good time. I didn't stay the whole time. I didn't stay the 3 weeks like Julene stayed. I came, stayed, I think 1 week, came back for the wrap. But the time that I was there, I really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, so it was a good time, definitely.
Yeah, that's really good. And you know that fashion is such a central point in this film. How did you incorporate it as a storytelling like device? And what message do you hope to convey about like personal style and like self-expression to like the viewers that get to watch this film?
Something was Julene's thing as far as when she brought me the concept, it already had a fashion aspect to it. Um, and but being able to write about it, first of all, our wardrobe, what is Tam's actually? I had a wardrobe, Tam Lee. She was so excited about this project because it allowed her to really, do her thing. Like, I know you saw those. The clothes was amazing, like amazing. And Julene may know, and she can speak on this. The person, the designer whose dresses we use for the Fashion Denzel Park scene. There was a specific there was a person that we used her dresses. Those dresses was amazing. But I think the connection with the fashion and everything, it was so fun to write, and to visually know that we were going to have some beautiful clothes throughout, the story, and to see Tiffany evolve and come out of her shell and go from this plain Jane to this, just wearing these fashion pieces and standing alongside of him, and just seeing that character evolve was really good too. I think Julene could definitely speak more on this because this was her, initially her idea to add the fashion element to it.
Costume designer. She did an amazing job. And actually, when I first came up with the concept, I based it on fashion because I was a fashion designer in high school and stuff like that, and I had a clothing line, and so I came up with the idea because I wanted to show a woman with her own business, her own creative business. I wanted that kind of representation on screen, and so and when I the first concept was that she had a unique style. She had a unique brand. Her clothes were unique, and that was an aspect of the film where she was trying to keep her mother's old style, more mature style, but she had like a more quirky, colorful, bright style that she wanted to represent. And so I wanted fashion to be a way for people to express themselves. I wanted people to be able to showcase their uniqueness through fashion and the one of the first titles of the script was going to be Misfits. Misfits meaning like someone who doesn't fit in, but also misfits. So that was like the first title when I was first creating the script, and so I wanted to create a story about a woman who has a fashion sense that might be kind of different, but that's how she expresses herself. And by the end of the movie, Tiffany learns to express herself through her fashion. She revamps all of her clothes, and that's how she gets to save the shop. And Lynette mentioned a fashion designer that was prominently featured throughout the movie during Fashion de la Park, those glittery sequin dresses that you saw going down the runway, and Tiffany's beautiful red dress. The fashion designer is Omishan. Christian Omishan. And she does beautiful gowns. And Tam said that she created those gowns in one day. So that's talent. That's talent right there. She said custom gowns in one day.
That's incredible. And I just want to kind of change it up a bit. I want to do a little game segment. So this is based on the film. There's some lines from the film, and I want you guys to guess who said which character said this line. First line is, "If you ever go before him, please don't be looking like a plain Jane." Who said that?
That's easy. That was Rhea.
That's correct.
If you ever go in front of the Teddy Maxwell, please don't go before him looking like a plain Jane.
Okay, the next line is, "My job is to make other people look fabulous. Me being glammed up is not my priority."
Tiffany.
My job is to make other people look fabulous. Me being glammed up is not a priority.
Okay, the next one. "It's like she sees me with different eyes, not Teddy Maxwell, the pop star, but Teddy Maxwell from Atlanta."
You gave up the answer when you said Teddy, but from the first sentence, I knew it was Teddy.
"I can't believe I let you play me. A classic beauty for that." He said that.
Nicole, our bad guy.
Okay. You guys did well in that, to be honest. Could you share 3 reasons why people should watch Style Me for Christmas?
Because it's fun, it's so funny, and you're going to laugh and everything. It's very inspiring. It's definitely going to tug on your heartstrings and make you feel some kind of way, all warm and fuzzy inside. And because it has some amazing acting in it. You know, we got Mario, we got Raven, we got Pretty Vee, Cheryl, Sincerely, Michael. You know, it has some Karen who played Mrs. Bouvard. Mrs. Bouvard doesn't do extensions. You know what I mean? So Julene and I are in it. And I don't know if you saw that. Me and Julene and I made some cameos in it. So I think those are the reasons. It's well written, and I'm not saying that's just because we wrote it, but it's well written. And at the end of the day, at the end of the movie, you're gonna want to watch it again and again and again. I know that's more than 3, but those are my reasons.
Do you want to add anything else, Julie?
Sure. Well, like she said, a lot of the reviews that we've gotten all over the internet is that I watched this like 5 times, 10 times. Like people really rewatching it over and over again. And I rewatched it over and over myself. I think it's like a comfort movie. There are like certain movies that you put on and then you watch it over and over. It doesn't bother you that you're watching the same thing over and over. It's comforting and that the characters are like really warm and the storyline is just inspiring. So I think because it's inspirational, you'll be motivated to live your own dreams if you like or have been doubting yourself or thinking that you're not good enough or that maybe that love's not possible for you. It'll be inspiring. It'll be a love story that you're like, oh, I believe in love again. So the inspiration, the great actors, like she said, Mario was like so amazing. Like as I work in, I take a lot of acting classes myself, and I also have worked in casting, and like he just has a thing with nuances, like just showing reality, like little things he'll add to it that you're like, that's so good. Like you are a real actor. So Mario and Raven and Pretty Vee, they all added little details to their characters that go beyond the script. So they're like amazing. They're amazing to watch, they're amazing to experience. And like she said, it's just a great movie, a great story. to watch over and over again.
Forgot somebody. Jesse Wu also. Jesse Wu. So
Yeah,
I don't know if I need to say all my names again, but Jessie Wu, I don't want to not put Jessie Wu in it. She did an amazing job too.
yeah,
As
yeah.
Denise.
I was just gonna add that in all of my scripts that I write, I try to add like a um cultural aspect to it because I'm Haitian American, and I always sometimes I write like I'm writing a Nigerian script with a Nigerian character, but this movie in particular I wanted to have like a Haitian aspect to it, and so that's why the boutique is called Boutique de ma Mère. It's French, and so there are different fashion de la part is French, so there are different things in the script that make it cultural and different, little details. But I really wanted a Haitian actress in this movie, and so I said, I want Jessie Wu because she's one of my favorite, Haitian actresses and influencers. And so I put her on on my put her on my what's it called? Oh, character wish list. And we got her. And she even the little scene, the few minutes that she was on screen, she just brought her personality. The accent that she used was like authentic Haitian accent, and she was really funny. She was just really funny. So I'm grateful that we're able to like bring cultural aspects to films to make it, to bring representation that is not always there.
And let me just say when Julene had us that the overall arc of this movie was based on, her Haitian background. It took so long for me to be able to say some of the names of these things, like fashion. I don't even know if I still mispronounce fashion Denzel Park. Like it's crazy. Like I going through the script, I'm like, huh? How do you say that? And boutique de ma mère. I'm like, oh my goodness. So that was like one of the fun things when we were working on the script was me trying to get this French together to be able to say some of the things that she came up with for the movie.
What kind of conversations do you hope that your film will spark about love, self-acceptance, and pursuing your dreams that people can take away from watching this film?
Just like what you said, pursuing your dreams, knowing that you sometimes have to fall, you know what I mean? But you can get back up and you can, you can do anything that you want to do. You just have to believe in yourself. Um, you have to believe that you can fall in love, you can have a, sustainable relationship. You got to believe that, you know, whatever God has purposed in you to do, the gifts, the talents that, you know, that your purpose you will be able to do exactly what God has you to do, but you have to work at it. And you have to believe in yourself. Believing is the first step. Believing that you can do it, knowing you can do it, and then walking through the door. And I think just people being able to see Tiffany in themselves and knowing that um, what she went through, but she was able to overcome, and also these relationships that she had. Like Rhea was a ride or die. You know what I mean? That's how we wrote her. And Pretty Vee definitely played that role as her ride or die. You felt like that was her friend. Like she was going to be there for her no matter what. And just knowing that you have a community that's behind you, that's going to push you, and help you. And also believing in God. And I think that was one of the things we wanted to make sure that it's inspired, that there was a belief in a higher power. And we wanted to make sure that we inserted those things in this film. So, we were very happy that it was received.
Yes, definitely. Everything that Lynette said is on point. I would say sometimes art and storytelling is a great way to redeem things that happen in your life. It's a great way to redeem themes that maybe you went through in your life and to help someone else overcome those things. The story is very loosely based on experiences I've had in love relationships and people. Um, and so I wanted to redeem, heartbreak I've been through, breaking up with someone or um, finding love in my own life. I wanted to redeem that and create like a happy love story that a woman finally gets the man. A Black woman is represented as the love interest, and she gets the man, and there's no struggle. It's not struggle love. It's a beautiful, warm love story. And so I really wanted to help people to believe in love again. Love is possible. There is someone for you. Sometimes you have to learn to love yourself and stand up for yourself. I love the scene where Tiffany was talking to people on the live stream where she was like, I am worthy of respect. I'm worthy of love. We are enough. We are good enough. We are a community. We stand together, just be yourself. You are enough. And I love that message. I love it for myself. I I teared up during that scene. I just love that people can see that they are enough. You are worthy of love. There's someone out there for you. Sometimes the standards of this world make you think that you have to get all kind of surgeries, or you're not beautiful enough without makeup or stuff like that. You have to change your body this way or that, but you are enough already. And God can bring someone in your life, maybe a celebrity like Teddy Maxwell. Anything is possible. And I wanted to bring that kind of wonder too, kind of like Cinderella, where it wonder of like anything can happen, anything is possible. Impossible. I really wanted to create a feeling of wonder in the movie where something like that could happen. You could be a Teddy Maxwell and your business can be successful. So that's why I really wanted people to have hope.
I really loved that scene as well. I feel like, especially with all that, like, I'm not going to spoil it, but like with all that happened previous, she was like, you know what, I'm not going to feel so sad about the whole situation. Like, she's going to take this and motivate other people and motivate herself in the process. Where can people find you guys and see the other amazing projects that you guys have done?
I'm on everything under Lynette J. Blackwell, so IG, Facebook. As far as any projects that I've done under IMDb, all my projects are listed there.
I am also on Instagram, YouTube, under my name, Julene Fleurmond, altogether. You should be able to find me on Instagram, and then there are links to my website. I'm working on a couple of other film projects as well, so hopefully in the future you'll see some of those. But I have a community where it's called the Dare Dreamer Movement, and I help women to live their dreams and trailblaze their dreams and become, whatever it is God said that you are meant to be, helping them to overcome fear, doubt, imposter syndrome. So through my Instagram, you'll find a link to all of my YouTube website, and be inspired.
Thanks again for like this opportunity to talk to you guys. It was really nice to kind of understand like the story behind this great film and also just get to know you guys more. So thank you so much. And
thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
It was fun. Yeah.
And I love what you're doing. Keep on going. Keep on living the dream.
I appreciate it.